Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Monday Morning Podcast for Monday, June 24th, 2024. What's going on? How are ya? Oh, geez, the 24th day in the 24th year of this fucking century of our Lord, whatever you're supposed to say. This is like back east, people are like, oh my God, it's the 24th day of the 24th year. I gotta go play the number. Go down to the Packy, get me a 6 fucking Michelob Light and play my number. Listen to me, take out the 16 and put in a 24. It's not gonna come in. Just fucking switch it. Anyway. I am in my last night of a 4-night run in San Jose, California. San Jose, California, which is a city I have been waiting for this fucking city to turn around. I don't get what the problem is. You know, I just don't get it. Did I talk about this on Thursday? I don't remember. Do you remember? Do you remember Thursday? Remember way back on Thursday? I don't remember. You know, I've been here now for 4 days. Beautiful city. Beautiful buildings, great architecture, and incredible fucking, I almost said sound system, an incredible fucking public transportation. You know, with they got this fucking train. Goes up and down the street. There's nobody on it except the person driving it, it seems. All kinds of buses and stuff. It has my favorite improv. The San Jose Improv is amazing. It's like you're performing in a theater. I don't know. Like a bunch of cities have I talked about this already, have come around. So, we were having a hell of a time trying to find out where the stuff was. Finally, we found it. I finally found some, Original Joe's obviously is the shit. I went over there, had one of their burgers, delicious, and then I got the chicken palm the next night. Fantastic. No pasta, no bread. All right? Old Billy's trying to excavate those fucking abs. I know I have abs, but I didn't have abs. I couldn't sit up in bed. You know? Sit up in bed with my reading glasses as I lose myself in a novel. You know how much I wish I did shit like that? I got to get back to reading, man. I am so fucking addicted to my phone. And I just recently saw something. Shout out too of 2 coffee places before I forget. Nirvana Soul and then Academic Coffee. They were both fantastic. So there you go. Some shout outs there to some local businesses. Anyway, they were talking about how, social media is designed to be addictive. All right? And I just don't get how that's fucking legal. You know what I mean? It's like all the food companies, they looked at the heroin problem with envy. So that's that they try to make their food addictive. And the shittier the food is, after you eat it, the more you got to have it. I haven't had McDonald's in years, right? Or I haven't eaten chips. I haven't had any of that shit. And now that I'm fucking away from it, I look at it like, why the hell would I put that in my body? But all it takes, one fucking potato chip, and you get that rush, dude. You start believing in yourself. I like the way this feels, man. I got a big week. I need another potato chip, right? Whoa! Salt going through the goddamn roof. I think it really talks about our diet where we're the only fucking animals on earth. And we are fucking animals if you see the way we treat each other. I'm sick of acting like, God created us in his image. How do you know it's not like a fucking just nice animal? Like a donkey. How do you know God's not a donkey? I've seen so many nice things about donkeys, the way you get them a ball and they fucking freak out like a little kid. And they're all happy and they're jumping. They don't even know what to do with themselves. There's some videos that I've been watching about people coming home with a new ball for their donkey to play with on a farm. And, like, you see how excited the fucking donkey is. It makes you feel like I got to enjoy my life more. You know, they're in the moment they stick up for the other animals. You know what I mean? There's no Cobra Kai in them, and they can actually. I saw one kill a hyena. I don't know how he did it. It was like some UFC shit early on when people didn't understand jiu-jitsu, and they're like, all right, this guy's coming out here, and remember the Gracies? They come out, and you're looking like, this guy's got like a fancy bathrobe on, and this other guy's got like boxing gloves on. Like, I don't know about this guy. This guy looks like he just got out of a spa, and all of a sudden he's on his back, and you're like, oh my God, he's going to get killed. And then the guy was tapping out, like, what the fuck happened? That's what happened when this donkey, they didn't have the beginning of the video. Somehow this fucking thing just grabbed the back of the neck of this hyena, and it was like nothing. It totally neutralized him, like a boxer on his back. Remember that guy came in on one of the early UFCs, whatever it was called back in the day, right? And he had one boxing glove on, right? And then he's like laying on his back. He's got a hand. He's basically has a mitten. You know, he couldn't grab the guy's gi. That's what it's called. Dude, tell me that word doesn't take you out of a spelling bee. There's people with a black belt can't spell that fucking word. I would spell G. Like, gee, isn't it a nice day? Gee. How the fuck? I'll take a shot at it. Oh my God. All I'm seeing is a G and a bunch of vowels. A G. Oh God. You know that's not from the United States. So, like, there's a letter in their alphabet that sounds like a G over here, but over there it's like a fucking H or something. You know? Like, you ever see, like, when Latino people laugh at a video, they write J-A, 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 J-A. What the fuck is ja, 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 ja? No, it's ha. Jose. Do you know how many years I watched that going, this guy just hit the wrong key. He's like so fucking excited he didn't spell ha, ha, ha right. And he did. That happens to me a lot, where I'm like, what the fuck is this guy? And then I realize I'm wrong. I like how I just said that, like you guys don't realize that I'm wrong most of the time. So anyway, you go back to this goddamn social media, and they're saying it's designed to be addictive, and, you know, there was like this lawsuit. I saw this thing, I know, up here they had this thing about like parents trying to organize to go at these fucking nerds, you know, with their giant houses in Silicon Valley and buying up San Francisco. They're fucking getting your kids addicted to nothing, just staring at the goddamn phone. I saw another thing on the news was talking about how this one I don't know what it was, this company went on social media, took billions of images, and then sold them to the cops. And the government actually stepped in and was like, what the fuck? And then what they basically said, that the company was like, well, if we pay all these people for doing what we did to them, we're going to go bankrupt. And they should have been like, well, then fucking go bankrupt. Instead, they go, well, what we're going to do is give, you know, all the people that we took from a portion of the company. You took billions of images. How are you not giving away the whole company? Oh, I know. You're going to get 1/1,000,000th of a fucking share, and they're still going to get their giant house out there on Malibu. They basically did the we're too big to fail, like they were a bank. I'm telling you, I've been saying this for a long time. Like, for some reason, feminists, when they look at toxic male masculinity, whatever the fuck it is, they're always going after the frat boy date rapist. You know what I mean? It's like, when are you going to go after big game and start fucking holding these nerds accountable? Bringing in this fucking AI. Who wants AI? Nobody wants it. These fucking nerds want it. That's what it is. I figured it out. I figured it out in my hotel room right here in San Jose. Oh boy, what's next? The Middle East? I'll give you some fucking ideas. I'm that guy in the bar who doesn't fucking read, who everything's simple. You know why everything's simple to me? Do you know why? Because I'm simple. I'm just a simple man. Anyway, so I got one more show here in in San Jose. I've been playing this this great venue. I don't even know the fucking name of it. I've been there 4 nights. I forget what it's called, but it's a great old venue that still looks like brand new, and they had all these great rock concerts in it and everything. I've been having such a great time, and somebody hooked me up with this insane Ludwig kit. It's one of the best kits I've ever heard. I'm in this fucking room that is like you could literally record When the Levee Breaks. I'm gonna play that when I fucking go over there tonight. I kind of just fuck around for like, one of the days I went over there, I played for like a half hour, but I usually just fuck around for like 15 minutes because, I don't know, it makes me not think about my set, I have a good time. And then also what happens is I start to learn shit on drums, and then I go on the road, and then when I get home, I got to spend time with the kids. So then it's like always like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So I feel like I can practice more when I'm on the road. This is what I do, I just indulge in my hobbies rather than dealing with what the fuck is wrong with my personality. I got the Yankees-Braves game on in the background. Yankees up 8-3, top of the 9th. I love the fucking, the pitch clock is fantastic. Just blowing through innings. I put this game on, I swear to God, it feels like 40 minutes ago, and they were in the 4th inning. It's now the top of the 9th. I'll tell you what's really what I can't stand. It's bad enough when a Red Sox goes to the Yankees, but when they make him shave his beard off, I hate how the Yankees are acting like you were never allowed to do that. It's like, what are you talking about? The 77, 78 Yankees, they look like porn stars. All these crazy mustaches and shit. I don't understand. It's really I don't know. I totally respect the Yankees and all that type of stuff. Iconic uniform, and obviously the most successful franchise of all time. Having said that, this whole way with this, you got to be clean shaven, like there's some sort of special forces adjacent, is really annoying. It's funny. Dougie now has like the face thing, wrapped around, because he used to have that nice beard that would protect him from a fastball. Now he's got his chin out there. He's feeling all fucking naked. There's the standings. Are we really? Oh, we're 10 games back. Jesus Christ, my eyes are bad. I was like, we a game back? That's a 1-0 bill, not 1.0. What are we, 41-39? Is that what they said? We're above 500. I don't know what they're doing over there with the Red Sox, man. We got to put it together. Gets great start and pitching. But anyway, the basketball season is obviously over. Celtics had their championship parade, which is awesome. Always takes me back to the one and only one that I went to, 1986. I asked my parents if I could skip school. They said no, and I said, all right. And I just fucking did it. Look at that guy still wearing the salmon shorts. There you go. With a Derek Jeter T-shirt out there in right field. That's an old school fan. Remember that? They tried to tell you it was salmon, and then somebody finally just started going, dude, you're wearing pink shorts, and that was the end of it. Now we got a little economist is interviewing Aaron Judge. Jesus Christ. Aaron Judge is the only person in baseball that is the size of the statue that they make of you after your Hall of Fame career. Look at that guy. My God. Remember the bat you would meet at outside of Yankee Stadium? I swear to God, this guy, if he was about 3 inches taller, he could probably fucking swing that thing. Anyway, the hell did I want to talk about? I watched a couple of movies while I was out here, as I'm trying to put the lineup to my set together, which I'm really excited about shooting this special next week. We've got a couple of really cool camera angles we're going to try out, so I got to make sure it kind of all gels, because I usually just sort of just talk about whatever I want to talk about. But when I do a special, you kind of, because you're editing, it's usually, what happens is you take one show was like the show, and then there's a couple of hiccups, and you grab a couple, 2, 3 things from the other show, and then that's it. But anyway, so I've been watching these movies, and I watched Car Wash, Classic comedy from way back in the day. Has like everybody in it. From Richard Pryor, basically does a cameo, pulls up in this stretch gold Lincoln Continental limousine. And the actor, if you watch that scene, that is watching the car go in, which, by the way, it's a great movie or whatever, but it in the history of cinema, there's never been worse actor eye lines in a movie. If you watch that, whenever like something's happening and then they cut to the actor looking at it, it never lines up. You know what I mean? Like, all right, I'm going to get a little Hollywood here. They tell you where to look. Sometimes they'll put like a little piece of tape, like right on the corner of the lens. And that's the hardest thing when you first start out, when you're acting in something. And it's like, don't look down the barrel of the camera. Just fucking laser in on that. They should literally teach acting classes just on doing that. They obviously didn't do that. They just said, hey man, there's a car driving by, look at it. So they just had him looking at it. It completely doesn't line up. They're always like way too high, way too low, or turning their head way too far. But the actor who's doing it, this isn't his fault. It's the production. Should have told him where, should have told him where to look. And it's little things like that. That's how people end up getting shot on set. No, I'm kidding. But it is, it's sorry. Anyway, too soon? I'm not laughing at the victims. I'm just saying. Anyway, the actor that is doing that look, I'm going, I know that face. Who is that guy? He's a great character actor. I saw him in a bunch of movies. And one of his most legendary parts is that guy, to this day, played a scene in a movie that was the most horrific fucking thing I'd ever seen up until that point. He's the guy that gets cut up in the shower with the chainsaw in Scarface. And I remember me and my siblings talked my mother into taking us to that movie when it came out in 1983. And she took us to that movie. And when that scene happened, which happens pretty early, if my mother said, that's it, we're leaving, I would have been like, no problem. It's still one of the most disturbing things I've ever watched, but that actor is in it. There's all these incredible cars, and it's not really just like the classic ones that, all the fucking baby boomers, all the robber baron ones, not the good baby. There are good baby boomers up there, but like, the baby boomers that got like the money. At this point, it's probably Gen X too that are like driving the prices. We got some Mopar power coming up next. We're going to start the bidding at $200,000. And you're like, for a fucking Challenger? When I was in high school, you could buy that car for like $3,500. You know what was funny too? Was people would buy those cars, and the big thing to do back then was you would jack up the rear end. You'd totally take out the rear end, jack it up, and put some fucking slicks on the back, or you just did all of this shit to the fucking car. And had those people known back in the day what those cars were going to be worth, it's just insane. So this is the thing. I feel like now, because these fucking electric cars are taking over, which is going to lead us into a war with Africa. I guarantee you. I guarantee fucking to you that's going to be the next air quote evildoers, which really means they have something that the corporations want. They're not evildoers. They're just people living their lives that happen to live next to a natural resource that greedy cunts, a small group of greedy cunts want, and then they just get everybody all hyped up, which is really easy to do. Because I saw this thing on Instagram, because I'm fucking addicted to it. This guy, he played a prank on his mother. I think they were in Jersey or something. And he somehow fucked with their TV. I don't know how these kids do it, man. They're incredible. Like, their ability to interact with technology. I'd have to take a fucking year-long course to figure out how this kid did it. But he had like that, that emergency, that creepy fucking sound that sounds like a computer from 100 years ago. Like, when are they going to update that fucking sound? That buzz sound, right? And it said there was some sort of warning happening, and it started, I think it said that aliens were landing, and you just watched his mother completely freak the fuck out. It was like War of the Worlds again in 2024. And if you don't know what War of the Worlds is, I believe it was I might have the wrong name, but it was initially a radio play. And they did it on the radio. They didn't tell people it was a joke. And they said that these aliens were landing. And people got so freaked out. Like, some people committed suicide. And they were saying that all they had to do was just turn the dial on the radio, and it would have just been like, a great day for a ball game. And they hopefully could have put 2 and 2 together to realize that if that was actually happening, that the game would be canceled and people wouldn't be talking about it and whatnot. And anyway, so it's really easy to get people riled up. So that's why I suggest not watching the news. It'll really help your day. And if I could just somehow get off the social media that these nerds, want me to watch. Whoever thought the nerds would be leading it, Anyway, so another movie I watched Q&A, a Sidney Lumet movie that stars Nick Nolte. And once again, he's playing a cop, like in 48 Hours. Except this time it's not a comedy. And Timothy Hutton's in it, Luis Guzman. It's a great cast. It's a really, really, really good movie. And but dude, the level of fucking racism in that movie, and I don't mean like the standard, just like, dropping the N-word and stuff about Latinos and Asians and all of that. Like the level of shit, but just between the white people, just between nationalities. Like, I lost count how many times you greaseball fucking wop, it's just you fucking Mick, blah, 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 like all of this shit, like, but it wasn't inaccurate. It's like, that's kind of like how it was. I saw this thing, Eddie Murphy was doing this great interview. He always has great interviews, but he was doing this interview about 48 Hours, and he was talking about that scene he did when he goes into, it was supposed to be like the country western bar, and there was all those rednecks and stuff in there. And he was saying how he was really pissing people off. Those people actually really getting mad in the scene. And the person interviewing it was young, was just going, really, really? And he goes, yeah, man, you got to understand, like, when I made that movie, like, literally, that was only, like, 13 years after Martin Luther King got assassinated. Like, there was a lot of that shit was not fucking resolved at all. So, but anyway, it is it's one of my favorite, actually, Nick Nolte performances. He is so fucking menacing and scary in that movie. I've never seen him play something like that, and it just made me be like, I got to do a deep dive on this guy. I got to watch, like, I saw like North Dallas 40, I saw 48 Hours, then I saw Q&A. I know I've seen way more than that. I just can't think of anything right now, but I got to watch more of that. But if you guys have any recommendation, I would definitely like to hear it. But it's funny, at the age I am now, like, I pick movies based on what kind of cars I think I'm going to see. That's why I watched Car Wash. And that movie, it's not even like the classic cars. It's those cars you just forgot about. You know what I mean? Like they'll be like, you got to like look them up. Like a whatever the poor man's Oldsmobile Cutlass was. Which I think was like a Pontiac Grand Prix. And they always funny because those were all GM products. So it was all basically the same chassis. And then they would sort of change the body on it a little bit. And, but it was still a lot of that thing where, like, Cadillac didn't make like a cheap model. Like, Cadillac was still the top. I think it went Cadillac, Buick, Oldsmobile, Pontiac, Chevy is how it used to go. and they all had different like price points, and it was literally like working your way up from AAA. Before like nowadays where they have like a BMW for every sort of whatever you make in a year, you can go lease one or some shit. Like back in the day, it really was you are what you drive. Like if you showed up with the Buick, it'd be like, look at you, man. You're almost right. You're almost up at the fucking top. And I saw a car, me and Dean, I was working up here with Dean Del Rey, and we saw this fucking car. Oh my God. It was one of the most beautiful cars I've ever seen. It was a Buick from the 1950s, and it was like a lowrider. And I really realized, like, I like lowriders. I think cars from the 50s look better than the ones from like the 60s and 70s, and only because I just think they've been like the Impala lowrider's been done to death. I know it's a classic and everything, but those 1950s, like a two-door. This was like a two-door Buick. It was early 50s because it had like the single headlights. Because 57 was when they had that stainless steel top Cadillac, and that was the first one that had the dual headlights. And then the next year, everything had dual headlights. And dual headlights was sort of all the rage. And maybe until like the late 60s. It kind of, then they just had the single headlight, and then you stepped on that thing on the floor, and then the same headlight would get brighter, right? So, like sort of how like that 65, 66 Cadillac with the lights on top of each other. Then when they went to the 70s, was it side by side with the big grill? They might have kept the dual for a while. I forget. Anyway, this car was like an early, like I'm guessing a 53. It was this gorgeous cream color. And then on top, it was like this emerald green metal flake that sort of faded into like this gold looking stripe down the middle. And I was saying to Dean, I was like, I would never think to put that color combination together. Dude, it was fucking gorgeous. Gorgeous. I got to, my son and daughter are, hanging out with me, have become like car people. I got to take them to a car show where it's all lowriders and stuff. Because I got to tell you, like I don't know. I mean, I don't know much about painting cars, but like Mexicans, like the level that they paint the cars, it's fucking insane. It's fucking insane. I mean, I would be afraid to drive it down the goddamn street. It's literally a work of art. Didn't they have that one time? They were like, our cars art? Our cars art? Well, I think it's more art than some guy throwing buckets of paint at a fucking canvas. I don't know. I don't want to get involved in that fucking debate. Anyway, all right, so I'm actually recording this a day. I usually record on Sundays. I'm taking this on Saturday, but I'll recording it, whatever the fuck you say. So I'm going to stop here because I got to do my show, and then through the magic of editing, we will just pick this up with a little bit of advertising and then your questions for the week. But I want to get a little ahead of the game because I haven't seen my kids in a few days. So as a dad coming home from the road, it's like you just fucking put your bags down and then you're right to the backyard throwing pitches. Which is awesome. I'm not going to bitch about that, but it's, sometimes you're like, can I just fucking, sit here for a second? They're like, Dad's home, all right. Dad, let's go play baseball. It's like, all right, here we go. All right. Oh, Jesus, and just like that, it's the next day and I'm back in my freaking house here. It's got to be weird. For you, it was like half a second. And I was about ready to do the reads for this week, and I completely forgot the most important thing in sports right now. Game 7 of the NHL Stanley Cup Final. What in the fuck? Somehow, the Florida Panthers, being up 3-0 are now, it's all tied up. 3-3 going into Game 7. I don't give a fuck if you don't watch any hockey. It's a Game 7. It's a team coming back down 0-3. It's insane. I think the last time this happened in a final, they said, was like in 1940s. I remember it happened to the Bruins. We were up 3-0 over the Flyers, and then Krejci went down, and I think Eric Gagne or somebody came back, and Jesus, Jesus. But you know what? The next year we won the cup. So, you got to take the good with the bad there. I do have to say I watched Game 6, and, I was surprised they called back that goal. Did that look conclusive? I don't know. I got old eyes. I was just like, fucking Paul Maurice. Oh my God. How many times did he almost lose his gum yelling, going, there's no fucking way that was offsides. There's no fucking way that was offsides. Now, I know they lost by way more than a goal, but, being down 2-0, and then you think you cut it in half 2-1, and then all of a sudden they take that away from you. I mean, that changes the game a little bit. So we shall see. Going back down to Florida, Miami. And you got to wonder how many people in Miami even know this game is happening. I'm not saying they're bad sports fans. It's like, have you ever been to fucking Miami? I mean, just why would you ever be inside watching ice hockey? Jesus Christ. Like, some of the most beautiful people I've ever seen in my life walking around, what is it, Miami Beach? Whatever the fucking thing is, where all the big houses are, and you start hearing that Scarface music and all of that. I'm amazed anybody goes to games, but I know they got to have fucking huge hockey fans down there with this team that they got the last 2 years, the run that they've had. So who knows? Did the Panthers somehow fucking hang on and get it done after, I know they lost last year in the final, but nobody thought that they were going to be. They didn't think they were going to beat the Bruins in the first round. Forget about the second round, then win the Eastern Conference Final and all of that. But now that they're back, now they got to expect to win, going up against Edmonton, and certainly up 3-0. Am I saying anything you guys don't fucking know? I should be on ESPN right now. Fucking old Captain Obvious over here. Anyway, I'm going to have couple of my stand-up buddies are coming over. A couple of the wives, they're coming over. Gonna make some wings and shit, and we're gonna sit down and watch it. It's gonna be incredible. Fucking incredible. It's weird now. Now it would be just sort of like, I think unless you're a Panthers fan, for anybody else it's just a complete buzzkill if Edmonton loses, because then it's just like, well, yeah, it's just, they're up 3-0. We thought the Panthers were going to win, but the fucking Edmonton wins. It's like, one of the most unbelievable, incredible fucking comebacks of all time, So anyway, I'll be watching that. Somebody was trying to claim that the Edmonton coach said after Game 3, we figured something out. I refuse to believe that's true. Like, if you figured something out, why would you make that public? Wouldn't you act like you didn't figure anything out? And then in between periods being like, we fucking figured him out, man. Like, why would you say that to the press? So I don't think that's real. Anyway, I did my last show at the Civic Center. That's what it's called, in San Jose. It was fantastic. And then I woke up and I ran over there with a couple buddies of mine back over to Academic Coffee before I got on the plane and headed back. Really nice flight. Gorgeous state. That is California. I have a gig, I think, in upstate California coming up. I think I'm going to drive up, and I'm not going to. I might go along the coast or take the 99. I got to see something different. I've never been. What's funny? I've never been to Yosemite. And people are like, oh, you got to take your family there. It's like, I'm not fucking taking them there. If we stay in the car, we are. I'm not going to deal with bobcats and mountain lions and bears. I come from the suburbs, all right? I can deal with squirrels, blue jays, and the occasional fucking owl. That's it. That's what raccoons. I had a buddy of mine told me he went up there and this fucking pack of raccoons started coming at him. He was like, wow, that's weird. The next thing you know, he was throwing his food, running away. I think they know that most of us are pussies. I bet we had more respect back in the day when we had raccoon hats on. There you go, sending a message. You want to end up like your friend? I got a whole boat full of fucking varmint pelts. You just made the list, buddy. What's that a reference to? That's that dude Psycho in Stripes. You just made the list. Is that what he said? I don't like anybody touching me. Oh, you can't say that shit. Any of you homos, that's what he said. Touches me, and I'll kill you. I don't like anybody touching my stuff. Anybody touches my stuff, and I'll kill you. Lighten up, Francis. Anyway, quoting Stripes from way back in the day. Another movie my parents took me to. My parents were hilarious. My mother took us to two, I've told this before, took us to two kid movies and decided these things are fucking stupid. I'm not doing this. Because they didn't make kid movies the way they do now. Like, I think the best one I've seen is Lego Batman. It's ridiculous. And then all of those Lightning McQueen movies are great. But like Lego Batman is just a whole other level. But like when I was a kid, like kid movies were like, you know, we saw For the Love of Benji, which all parents probably in their head were like going, for the love of Christ. It was like a fucking talking dog. I can't even remember. I was just happy to be at the movies, you know. And then we saw Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo. And that was sort of like Knight Rider for like hippies. I don't know. It was like it was a Volkswagen Bug that sort of had, you know, AI basically. It had a mind of its own or something. I don't know. And somehow it raced against Formula One cars and it won. It was kind of odd, you know, to do that with a German car that, you know, Hollywood and what Germans have done to so many Jewish people that Hollywood would okay a Volkswagen Bug doing those things. You'd think they'd go with maybe like something that the Allies made, you know, like a fucking Jaguar or a Chevy. Anyway, that's what I love about fucking white supremacists. They like Hitler. It's like, and they support the troops. It doesn't make it. It's like we fought that guy. How are you supporting the troops and you're on the fucking side of the Axis? It doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any sense to support anybody that wants to go out and kill a whole bunch of other people. You know? Even if it is your own country, I don't know how you stop these fucking lunatics. There's so much fucking crazy shit. I don't watch the news, but I saw them starting to ramp up. Oh, Russia's talking to North Korea. Oh, Jesus. Fucking let them. Who gives it? We can blow up the world 90 times. What are they going to do to us? We press one, but we're like fucking lunatics. Fucking lunatics. We'll kill everybody. We'll kill everyone, including ourselves. Didn't we already do this? Didn't Matthew Broderick figure it out in a movie 40 years ago when the computer played tic-tac-toe? I thought we already figured this out. We're going back to the well again. Doing that a lot. They're rebooting a bunch of all these shows are fucking coming back. I think we're just out of ideas and we're just kind of repeating ourselves. Wait now to see what's the next TV show that they reboot. I think they're bringing back Pimp My Ride. Remember that show? But that show made sense back then because so many cars sucked. Now the cars are so fast people can't handle the horsepower. There's all kinds of YouTube channels of people fucking, you know, trying to do a burnout or something, and the next thing you know, they fucking skidding sideways into a tree. It really is nuts. Like the level of cars out there with like 400 horsepower. That was like the fastest cars. All these people talking about back in the day, you know, 40 fucking electric car, you fucking man, goddamn man car. Like those cars all get smoked by fucking SUVs today. Unless maybe you had like a Shelby or something like that. But the average fucking Mustang, you know, I don't know. Maybe the car's made of steel back then. You fucking, you know, they didn't have crumple zones. You fucking died. The steering wheel went into your chest. And cars today are just as heavy as they were back then, if not heavier. I have no fucking idea. I mean, back then you just had a powertrain, your suspension, and your brake system. And then whatever Saturday, you open the hood, you could look in, the engine bay, you could see the fucking driveway. You can't do that nowadays. There's all kinds of computers in there. There's GPS systems, cameras, those stupid fucking beep, beep, beep sounds. I fucking hate cars now. I like how safe they are, but I can't stand them. Like, I think my, my Jaguar is like the last one I'm gonna draw. I think I'm gonna sell that thing, and I'm just gonna go back to I'm gonna buy an older car, and just have it fixed up, and just have a car that isn't fucking talking to me, filming me, stomping on the brakes for me, and all that shit. I don't need any of that shit. I'm good. All right, I'm fucking good. And there's a whole bunch of, and I fucking love every goddamn car back then. It seems. All right, let me do the reads here for this week. We're finally getting to this shit. All right, Helix Sleep, everybody. Helix. Helix, here to save the day by making your night. The Helix lineup offers 20 unique mattresses, including the award-winning Luxe and Ultra Premium Elite Collections. The Helix Plus, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers. And the Helix Kids mattresses, designed for growing bodies and endorsed by child sleep experts. Jesus, bunch of creeps sitting there watching kids sleeping. I'm an expert at that. So how will you know which Helix mattress works best for you and your body? Take the Helix Sleep Quiz and find your perfect mattress in under 2 minutes. Helix knows there's no better way to test out a new mattress than by sleeping on it in your own home. That's why they offer a 100-night trial and a 10 to 15-year warranty to try out your new Helix mattress. Models with a more responsive foam to cradle your body for essential support in stomach and back sleeping positions, plus enhanced cooling features to keep you from overheating at night. Yeah, just in case you're stealing from the company and you have the night sweats. And if your spine needs some extra TLC, they got you. Every Helix mattress has a hybrid design combining individually wrapped steel coils in the base with premium foam layers on top. It's the perfect combination of comfort and support. Don't want to take my word for it. Helix has been awarded the #1 mattress picked by GQ and Wired magazine. If Wired magazine came out in the 80s, it would just be about doing cocaine. And you'd read it all night long, brother. Where am I? It's even recommended by multiple leading chiropractors and doctors of sleep medicine as a go-to solution for improving your sleep. Helix is offering up to 30% off all mattresses and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/Burr. That's helixsleep.com/Burr. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. With Helix, better sleep stats now. All right, and with that, it's your turn. It's for you guys to chime in now. I got on my glasses. The people at the glass shop say glasses don't make your eyes worth, but now that I have them, I can't seem to fucking read without them. But I'll tell you this, I kind of like them though. Oh, Billy's staring into his fucking golden years here. Rory choking. Dear Billy Le Connard Rouge. Billy the Red Duck. What? Is there a red duck? Canard? Isn't that a duck? At least he didn't call me a pig? Cochon? All right. I must disagree with your opinion that sports fans can't say an athlete choked. You don't have to. You can. If they themselves, I must disagree with your opinion that sports fans can't say an athlete choked if they themselves can't play the sport. Well, then they should at least say, if anybody knows choking, it's me. I choked on a fucking foot-long sub from Subway last night when I did nothing athletic. And you know what reminded me of that? Rory missing 2 3-foot putts. If they would say it like that, instead of fucking sitting there, watching the end of Roy Jones Jr.'s career and saying that he's a bitch and all that shit when they'd never had a fight in their life. No, I don't give a fuck about your opinion, but I'll read it.
All right, first of all, we hold the athletes to higher standards than ourselves. Okay, first of all, who are you talking for when you say we? You don't hold them to higher standards. You watch them because they entertain you. And then when they fail, it makes you feel better about the shortcomings in your own life. That's what's going on. What kind of fucking asshole human being sees somebody not achieve something and then wants to take pleasure in it and rub it in and go online and talk about how they choked? Have you ever thought about that? Like, why do you have the need to do that? Why do you and your friends sit around talking around saying that they're chokers? You don't know them. You have no idea what it's like to be in that position. You don't. You're doing it because of something that's going on with you. Anyway, he goes, that's why we watch. I hate when people use the pronoun fucking we when they're talking about their opinion. All right, they're supposed to be great or at least still impressive to watch. When you go to a pro baseball game and just see them warming up, whipping the ball around the infield with great speed and grace, it's impressive. / does it make you a little bit envious? That's the basic standard we expect of them. This person's hilarious. A shortstop can throw a baseball hard and fast to first base. If he can't, he messed up, he choked, and I am allowed to say that even though I couldn't hit a barn from 5 feet away. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is really self-involved. Did you notice how this person said we the entire time until they got to the point of saying choked? And then where did all your friends go? It just became I. If LeBron James had 2 free throws to win a championship and missed both and they lost, well, he choked. Plain and simple. Because an NBA player should hit 9 out of 10 free throws anyway. That's a ridiculous stat. The greatest free throws shooters of all time, maybe you're at that category. So you don't even know what you're talking about. So when a so-called golf great, also an egotistical baby, how do you don't even know this? See this? You don't even know this guy. This is all, listen, I understand your argument, and it's not a unique one, because this is what all sports fans who go online and say all kinds of negative shit and find like the athlete's Twitter account and send them clown emojis and all of that type of shit. Yeah, that has nothing to do with the athlete. Or sports fans who want their team to win so they can go online and make fun of the fans on the other side. That you're not a sports fan. All right? There's something wrong with you psychologically. And you actually don't understand sports, and you probably never played them. Because you don't understand competition. All you know is that whoever wins is the GOAT and whoever loses is a bitch. Like that's like the level of it. Anyway, he writes, Rory McIlroy misses 2 giant, TWO putts, both of only 3 feet, and pisses away the lead. No, that's not what happened. He was down by a stroke and had a fucking epic. He birdied 3 out of 4 to get into that position. What about that part? Let's not watch the whole game. Let's just watch the end and say that's who he is. And then I love how the guy has won majors, but because he hasn't won one in a while, now he's a choker. How are you a choker when you're already a champion? You've already won a golf major. You don't get to where he's at choking. You just don't. I 100% disagree with all of this. I feel like people, when they talk about athletes choking and not being able to win the big one and getting tight and all the blah, 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 they do that because they're not happy with their own. So much of it is that. Like, you remember that bearded guy, Verse, whatever the fuck his name was, and the Jazz lose to the Chicago Bulls. And he goes and talks to Karl Malone, who's processing the devastation of that loss that this guy could never fucking understand, right? And he says, do you feel like they didn't even say you feel like a failure. That's what the guy said about the to the guy in the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, it's always that stuff. They want them to say they're a failure. They want them to say that they blew it. They actually need them to say that. They need them to say that so they can feel better about themselves. That's what it is. That's what it is. And if you really look at sports writers, most of them, they don't want the local team to win. They do everything they can to pull the thing apart, constantly trying to talk about how this player doesn't talk to that player. There's a quarterback controversy. The ownership and the GM aren't getting along. Blah, 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 blah. All this fucking Real Housewife shit. I'm in the Boston sports media. I used to read like the fucking sports page and be like, are you guys fans of these teams? Or did they fly you in from New York? And then I moved to New York and it was even fucking worse. That's all they do is try to pull the fucking team apart. That has nothing to do with the team. That has to do with some fat, impotent fuck who eats donuts every morning and, you know, didn't go for what the fuck he wanted in life. I don't know what. And I don't know what. I don't. That's their shit to figure it out. So I don't agree with any of this shit. I don't think that fat people on Ozempic should be talking about people choking. But that's just my opinion. So the simple objective. Okay, this. Wait, let me. I like how this person writes this. Rory misses 2 putts, both of only 3 feet, and pisses away the lead. The simple objective truth. You love this. How arrogant is this person? He brings in hypothetical we. There's no we. It's his statement, and then it comes around to him to say that you choked, and now he's saying that his opinion is simple and objective. Okay, simple objective truth is that he felt nervous and messed up because of his nerves. You don't even know what you're talking about. The guy's going through a fucking divorce right now and came 1 shot away from winning a major. You'd be crying in a fucking fetal position. The nerve of you. The nerve of you to just start talking about this guy like you have the right to criticize him, like you've done anything in your fucking life at his level. Fucking sitting in the crowd. Go fuck yourself. Anyway, he says, AKA he choked. Watching water falling from the sky and saying it's raining isn't a mean thing to say, Bill. Oh my God, how fucking arrogant is this person? So basically, your opinion is as obvious as rain falling from the sky. My God. Well, all I can say about this email is I'm glad you're not in my day-to-day life. And if you were, I am old enough now to you would be cut out. Like I can't. You can't be around a person like this. I know you do yoga with your shirt off now. Now he's attacking me. Probably wearing little skin-tight booty shorts. But hey, not everyone needs to get a participation trophy. Okay. Go fuck yourself, you red bastard. Yeah, no. So basically, you know, he's calling me a fairy because I'm giving this guy a fucking pass, and that the way I look at it is as obvious and as simple as rain falling from the sky. Ugh. You sound like You sound like you're just you're a real fun person to be around. All right. Okay. Well, you know what? And I'm also, okay, I'm going to show empathy for the people in your life to say you're 100% right. So you won't fucking take what I said out on them. All right. We have the right. You sound like a fucking soccer mom. And I also have to tell you that how you viewed what happened to Rory is the most basic, no-brainer, obvious fucking way to look at something. That's why you think it's so simple. There's nothing nuanced. There's nothing subtle. There's no trying to put yourself into his shoes going through a divorce. None of that type of stuff. Nothing. There's no, he was down a shot, you know, was sort of hanging in there and then got hot. Oh, none of that shit. It was just last two, fucking choked. Obvious as rain coming out of the fucking sky. You do yoga in little girl shorts. All right, what? Okay, that's great, fantastic. Anyways, how many majors have you won in your life? Like, what would you consider a major in your life? Oh, God, I probably shouldn't have said that. Now he's going to bring up his education and probably use words like matriculate. Guardians. Dear Billy Bitch Tits. You know what, dude? You want to fucking take your shirt off. I'll take my shirt off, okay? You'll see fucking freckled pecs, hard as a goddamn rock, getting ready to do a special. All right? How you looking there, fucking... What do you eat every morning, huh? Frosted Pop-Tart? Dude, I got to tell you, the second this goddamn thing is over, I am getting an old school fucking regular coffee with cream in it, and I'm going to go get a fucking donut with maple frosting. I don't know what it was. I got donuts for my kids a couple weeks ago, and I saw it, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. I haven't had sugar in like fucking 4 months, other than those affogatos. You know, I had one for my birthday, and then I had another one that someone made me, and I said I can't do it, and I've been thinking about that too. All right, here we go. Guardians, dear Billy Bitch Tits. So anyways, just to go on the record, you can throw that in the pile with stealing home court advantage. I think these are all just like people who say shit like that, and this guy choked, this person choked, and blah, 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 and all that type of stuff. Those are the exact fucking sports fans I don't want to sit near at a game, and I don't want to talk to them. They can't break down the game on any sort of like interesting way. You know, I like hanging out with sports fans that know more than I do, and I learn shit by being around them. I just don't like sitting around people saying this guy's a choker, this guy's a bitch, this guy's the GOAT. It bores the shit out of me. All right, Guardians, dear Billy Bitch Tits. A week or two ago, I heard you tried to expand on the name change from the Cleveland Indians to the Cleveland Guardians. I think you glossed over part of the point. Oh, absolutely. I'm the king of that. Or maybe you, like many others, could be unaware. Whatever the case, I've had this discussion in another city in recent months. The Guardians statues are locally called the Guardians of Transportation. Oh, wait a minute. I think somebody explained. Aren't they on your buildings? There are 8 of them, beautiful Art Deco figures carved by hand into sandstone, and each representing safety and progress in different forms of transportations. They were installed in 1932 on the former Lorraine Carnegie Bridge, now named Hope Memorial Bridge, after the late Clevelander Bob Hope. See, this is the type of shit I love. I didn't know any of this. Also, the Hope Memorial Bridge, when traveling east into downtown Cleveland, ends directly at the main gate of the ballpark. Of all the potential replacement names that were pitched, it was my personal favorite due to the connection it has with our cities. I think it's a cool fucking name. The Guardians. You know, it sounds heroic. I know it's just everybody's used to saying the Indians. But I think people would just call it that. I mean, people still, you know, when Candlestick changed, they still called it the Stick. You know, don't you guys still call the Indian State or the Guardian Stadium the Jake? You guys still call it that, right? Everybody still calls it Twitter. Of all the potential replacement names that were pitched, it was my personal favorite due to the connection it has with our city's history and the potential it has for our team's branding as seen in their recent City Connect uniforms. Yeah, and also how much Cleveland has turned around. You know, it could, and in the long haul, it might be a good thing. You know, I got to be honest with you. The amount of buildings that I've read about that when they were first put up, people absolutely hated them, called them an eyesore. And then by the end of them, you know, it ends up being like this, I don't know, what do you call it? The thing that everybody sees on the skyline, and it ends up getting associated with it, you know. Anyway, thank you, man. I loved the show for years and loved your material for decades. Go fuck yourself. All right. Haters in charge. Hey, Bill, arguing with somebody about this concept. Okay. I thought that was my nickname. I think we say, hey, Bill, arguing with someone about shit that doesn't matter. No, hey, Bill, arguing with somebody about this concept. I think it's a really dumb idea to have anyone in charge who is mad or jaded. and better to have someone who sincerely empathizes with that person or group to make a more reasonable, less emotional, more principled leader. Yeah, amen to that. I love America, but I have problems with leadership. But then there are people who are just absolutely insane and think that we need to burn down the whole country. I think it's absolutely fucking ridiculous what the pharmaceutical industry, the food industry, banks and insurance companies are doing to their fellow Americans. It's treasonous. And when they get caught doing what they're doing, you know, all it is like a class action suit against the corporation. And it's like they never go after. It's like, who were the people in the board meeting? They need to start going, and instead of holding a corporation responsible, they need to start holding people responsible. And some CEOs need to fucking go to jail. And if that happened, then they would actually think about what they're doing. But right now, they can basically murder fellow Americans, you know, by putting stuff out there that they know is bad, that they know causes cancer, that they know causes addiction, and all of that type of stuff. And in the end, all you do is go after the conglomerate that came up with the pill or the food or whatever the fuck it is, but you don't go after the people that had the data, that knew what the fuck it was going to do and made a profit off of all of these other people suffering. And I hate to tell you this, I don't see Democrats or Republicans going after these people. I don't see Fox News or CNN doing it. All I see is all of them trying to get us to be yelling at each other. And I got to tell you, it's working. It's going great. Everybody in capital letters screaming and fucking yelling at each other. It's so fucking depressing to look at. And then they got bots doing it. They got bots doing it on every other video on Instagram. You can blame the libtards for this. Yeah, and you want to elect Trump? You know, just, it's not even real people, and it just gets people yelling again. All right. Kenny Banya. Hello, Bill Burr. Said like Wilbur. Love your comedy and love the consistency of the podcast. Consistently ignorant. Yes. Reaching out. As every now and again, my wife and I will pop on Seinfeld at the end of the night. Oh, yeah, you can't mess with that show. I had it on the road, and it was the Soup Nazi episode. The classics. It's right up there with, like, Mary Tyler Moore. Like, there was never a bad episode of that. Just my own personal opinion. Cheers. Every episode was fucking great. The Jeffersons, All in the Family. There's been some great ones over the years. Everybody Loves Raymond is a killer one, too. All right. Reaching out as every now and again, my wife and I will pop on Seinfeld at the end of the night. And whenever she sees Kenny Banya, she can't help but think that Jerry Seinfeld wrote that character in reference to you. That is impossible. I did not meet Jerry Seinfeld until like 10 years after the show went off the air. She says it every time. And now I can't help but think of you when I see Kenny Banya. I don't know who that is on the show. Did Jerry write this character in reference to you? Keep up the good work and go fudge yourself. First of all, the Seinfeld Chronicles, when it first came out in 1989. I didn't do my first open mic until March of 1992. By March of 1993, I'd probably done stand-up, I don't know, maybe 25 times. I was finishing up in college, and by then Seinfeld was a huge hit, and they probably already had that character. But like, no, I never even saw Seinfeld in a comedy club until right at the end of when it ended. He had already wrapped on it, and everything was edited, and you know, America didn't know what the final, you know, however many episodes were going to be, but he did, and he had already come back and started doing stand-up. First time I ever saw him in person, I was in the crowd. I saw him in right towards the end, right around May of 98, almost, well, let's see. Well, I remember when the night of the last episode, because Frank Sinatra died on almost the same day, and I was in New York City, but whenever I saw him, it might have been in March, And they were already talking about all these outrageous rumors about how much they were going to pay the cast if they decided to do one more season and all of this stuff. But anyway, long story short, he came down to the Improv on Melrose. And I saw him come in, and it was fucking amazing to see him. And I remember he came in, it was a 15-minute spot, and he did 15 minutes and then left. And I was like, that's how you fucking do it. Because I remember he left, and I was like, fuck, where's he going? And I wish he stayed on longer. And I remember thinking, oh, yeah, always leave him wanting more. And he was a pro. He came in, obviously he bumped all of us. And we were waiting to go on, but he didn't go on for like an hour and hemming and hawing. He went up, he started with shit that worked, he had new shit in the middle, then he closed with a killer joke, and then he was out of there. Got in his car and left. It was amazing. All right, poison in our food. Hey there, old Billy Soapbox. I was just listening to Thursday podcast from a few weeks ago, May 2nd, 2024, and you were talking about all the poisons and carcinogens in our food and fragrances. Yeah, they're doing all this stuff now, like fragrances, like perfumes and candles and all of this shit. They don't have to tell people what's in it because it's protected, because it's their secret recipe, which they're like, okay, well, let's put some carcinogens in there. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. Comedians have to answer for jokes, but these people don't have to answer for that. Anyway, my girlfriend and I just found an app that can scan any food or beauty/hygiene products if they have a barcode, and it'll give them a score out of 100, how good or bad it is for you, and it will also give recommendations for better/lower risk products if the one you scan is not good. All right, well, what I want you to do is find out who made that and who owns it. Because there's so many scams, like the scam of I love incognito mode. You're on incognito mode. Nobody knows who you are. It's like, no, that's just to make you feel like no one knows who you are, and they 100% do. Everyone knows it's you, and they can go around anything. So, but this thing might be made by people that are trying to help out the people, or it could be made by a corporation that can't maybe they're Pepsi and they can't get rid of Coke. So what they're going to do is make an app that acts like it's, working for you, but it's really working for Pepsi, and it's going to say Coke is bad and Pepsi's better. That's what I would be paranoid about. But anyway, and it also will give you recommendations for better ones, blah, blah, blah. It also provides information on why it isn't good, such as known chemicals and shit in there that's hazardous or could be risky. I'm not sure if you want to say the name on your podcast, because I'm sure you don't want to provide free advertising. What are you talking about? I don't care. I thought you would think that I was going to shut it down. So don't read this part aloud if you don't want to, but it's called, I'm going to say it. It's called Yucca, Y-U-K-A, and it's the one with the carrot as its logo. All right, we'll try and get this thing before one of these carcinogen companies buys it. And they won't put it out of business. They'll just make it, like how they just sort of, with Waze just does what Google does now, Google Maps, because Google bought Waze. Back in the day, Waze would be different than Google's, and now it's all just the same. Google Maps, it's all the same. At least that's what my nerd friends tell me. Anything, it breaks everything down for you and explains why it's risky, and even gives sources of where that information is coming from. They say that it is completely independent and never gives recommendations based on products paying them to be higher on the list. Although I don't know how you would know if that's true or not. I'm choosing to still use it because the information has been a game changer for us. Wow, that's cool. All right, the app is free. And no, I'm not affiliated with this app in any way. How do I know that's true? Who knows? I just like it and think it's providing a good service to people. I figured you might like to know about it. And if you want to check some of the products or food you eat, it's worth the download. A lot of the stuff I was eating that I thought were healthy options turned out to be absolute shit. So I immediately switched to things that didn't have all risky chemicals and BS in it. Also looking at things like body washes, shampoo, lotions, lip balm, and deodorant was very eye-opening. Yeah, I don't use deodorant anymore because I don't want to get like Alzheimer's or anything like that. I've never been a big sweater, so, I haven't used deodorant in years and no one has complained, although I do have less friends. Fragrances really are tricky because it's classified as intellectual property. So here in the U.S., they don't have to disclose the ingredients. Well, in other countries, they do, so obviously it's they paid somebody off. He says, which sucks, but I found you can still get a lot of good information and make better choices with this app. It also doesn't only take into consideration our laws in this country, but also the health and safety laws in places like Europe. So sometimes you even get information that you normally might not get because the FDA doesn't, air quote, require companies to provide that information. Anyway, I love your work, and I hope to hear your thoughts on this app if you give it a look or if you just think it's bullshit. LOL. Keep crushing it out there, Bill. Health and happiness to you and your family. Yeah, I mean, isn't it amazing that during all of that, what I just talked about, other than thinking about getting that app, did you stop and think how fucked up it is that this is like normal? Like, all right, we got an app to figure out whether these corporations are poisoning their own people or not. Anyway, all right, that's it. That's the podcast. I'm looking forward to this game tonight. It's going to be a heartbreaker for somebody and over the moon for somebody else. And another great NHL season coming down to a Game 7 of Stanley Cup Final. You can't ask any more than that. Good luck to both teams. I will be watching, and I will be in Seattle this week. I don't know if I'm going to be doing I'll probably do it. The Thursday podcast, but I'm taping my special this week up at the Moore Theater. Looking forward to it. All right, everybody. I will talk to you on Thursday. Go fuck yourselves.